In this video, I finally installed the B18 into my 95 Civic. Alright, so now we've got the engine out, and since that's about to go back in, we got to move some things around so we can put the flywheel and the new clutch, and eventually the transmission back on that engine. And this is Lance. Wave at the camera. He's hanging out with me tonight. Jack up, make sure it's got pressure on it. Alright, that's plenty. Alright, jack it up some more. Alright, it's all off now.
Swing it a little bit.
That's fine, that's fine. Alright, so since we're here and I have a new rear main seal, I'm going to take the old one off. I'm going to try this trick I'd seen someone do with a self-tapping screw, and it is not going in that as easy as it seemed it would. What do you say, Lance? You think this is going to work?
Maybe. Nope, that's working.
Alright, try and pull it out. Go ahead, pry against it.
Oh, that's on there.
Alright, let me see. Nope. This thing does not want to come out.
Just crumbles.
There we go. That is a pain.
Now I get the easy part.
Yep. Remember I said you want to be careful and not scratch that part?
Yeah.
And we got lucky because we did get a bit aggressive, but we did not scratch the side of the crankshaft. You can see it still looks good. So we're going to put a little bit of oil on the new one and install it. So I'm going to coat the inside with a little bit of oil to make it slide on a little bit easier. And do the same thing on the outside.
How long will these things last?
Decades. And a lot of times you replace them before they leak just because you're in here doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. See how it kind of just sits in there perfect? Tell me which one of these will be the right one to use.
Not that one. So this one, right?
So we'll use that one. So here the trick is to make sure you put it in evenly.
Yeah. And then you put this on top of that and then bang it?
Yep.
It's looking good.
That's about how the other one was, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it looks pretty even all around, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's good. All right. And we have 10 minutes before Lance has to go home, so we're gonna try and get the flywheel on. So this is the new flywheel, a new luck flywheel.
There we go.
Let me see. How lucky was that? that was pure luck. So I am reusing the old flywheel bolts as they are not buggered up. Yeah, they're 12-point bolts and they still look good. And this will be hopefully Lance's first time using a torque wrench. So we'll look up the torque specs and then torque it down. So Lance is setting the torque wrench to 76 foot-pounds. All right, so Lance is gonna tighten it down. I have a screwdriver locking in the flywheel, so go ahead and tighten it till you hear a click.
There, clicked.
All right. Now do you want to do another one? Stand up for me too.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Good job, man. All right, I'll do the rest. It's 9:02. I'll let you know if I'm over here tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
In the excitement of having Lance over, I forgot to install the new pilot bearing. So I had to take the flywheel off and go ahead and install it. And it's all the way seated. And it's been my experience that they go in pretty smooth. So now I can put the flywheel back on. So now I'm gonna clean up the flywheel and install the clutch. So here's the clutch, alignment tool, pressure plate, and it lets you know that this is the gearbox side. Set that in like that. Stick this side in the bearing. It'll stay there. Now I'm gonna clean this up. And I think it goes like this. Let's see. All of a sudden it feels right. And these bolts get tightened to 19 foot-pounds or 228 inch-pounds. So I'm gonna snug them down and then tighten them down. A little bit at a time, crisscross pattern. I might as well install some grease now. And here's the transmission. It is filthy, so I'm gonna spend a little bit of time cleaning it out. I don't need to get it spotless, but I do kind of want to start off a little cleaner than this. So I have a new throwout bearing, and I'm going to install it now. Looks the same. It is symmetrical. Should just come off the ball. There we go. So that ball there rests right in here, and that bulge there, and it is held captive by this little arm. So I'm going to clean this up a bit. Again, there's no reason for this to be this clean. It just makes me feel better. I'm sorry, it's called a clutch fork. This gets grease. Just using Molly grease. Some grease on the ball. And even though I did grease the spline on the other side, I'm gonna grease this ahead of time anyway. New glove. So the way this goes together is just like that. And then when you actuate the clutch, this moves in and out. And just, there we go. Should be nice and smooth. So I found what I think are the right transmission bolts. Got 5 of them. So I'm gonna see if I can line everything up and put the transmission back on. Funny enough, it lines up pretty close. Had to lift it a bit. Now let's see if that helps. Helped a lot. So I think it's in there. So see if I can use these bolts to help pull it in. The bolt is going in nicely. Grab another one, and it too is going in nicely. So I think I'm home free. Yeah, boy. So now it's pretty snug all the way around, and I'm convinced it'll get snug over here. A little impact is nowhere near the torque that these things need to be tightened to. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them with my long ratchet. Now that I'm looking at it, I'd like to clean the transmission up a little, but I need not lose sight of the purpose of this engine. It is just to get me by, but I would like to start off a little cleaner. We'll see. If I get to the point tonight where I can put it in, it's just gonna stay dirty. While the engine and transmission are out, I decided to go ahead and replace these seals. So let's see if I can get them out. That was easy. So I got the left and the right seal. So I'm gonna see which one I have. Looks like this one. It doesn't look exactly like it, but it is the right diameter. So I am going to install it. All right, I think that looks good. Let's install the other one. Let's see how easy it comes out. Okay, that finally looks good. Don't do it the way I did, but I could see that it was going in. It didn't need to be persuaded that much to go in. So now that that's done, I'm going to see about the motor mounts. So this is the bracket. I think they call it a T-mount or a T-bracket. This is from the donor Integra. This is the mount I need to put this B18 in my Civic. So I'm gonna try and reattach it to the transmission. So I made sure that this mount was compatible with my Civic, and it is. This is one of the ones off of the auction Integra. So I'm just bolting it down. So I think when I lift it, this side will drop in, but I may have to tilt this side to get it to go onto the mount, and the back should drop right in. I think I'm ready to clean up a bit, get on the hoist, and see if I can drop it in. Almost forgot. I gotta connect the wiring harness. It'll be a lot easier with the engine sitting on the floor. I think that's it. This goes to the speed sensor. I don't know what this goes to. But yeah, it's getting late, so I should probably go inside, but I think I'm getting there. So I think tonight I'm gonna try and put the engine back in the car, but that doesn't fit this setup. But when you think about it, the metal parts of this tubing don't necessarily need to be there. But I have this to look at, and it looks like I know where all these go because I can reference the other one. So there is a tube that needs to go from here to here, and a tube that goes from here to the intake. There is another tube that goes from here to the crossover pipe that's back there. It goes in there, and then in there is a little tube that comes off of the little box back there, and that goes up to here, which on this valve cover is blocked off. But on this other valve cover, it's not. And this grommet is pretty pliable. So I don't know if I'm gonna block it off or not, but I am convinced that I know what I'm doing now. Well, actually on this one, the hose that is on the top of that box should go up here. Yeah, there is the PCV valve there. So that is what that connects to, but I want to route it a different way because that's not easy to get to. And I think I'm going to be able to make this work. Even though it's not a direct shot, this tubing here comes up, loops around, and I think I can just loosen this, twist it, and it'll go in here. And this, you know, I can make that go to the intake. So this is squared away. The PCV isn't squared away, but this is squared away, so I think I'll be able to save a trip to the store. No, it needs to go, it needs to really make an S. And this is not an S piece of tubing. Well, that doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad at all. And this is the intake off the D16, and yeah, that is not quite in the right location. So, I don't know, let me see if the intake from the other car will work. Oh yeah, we can definitely make this work even if we get rid of this, which might be what I end up doing. So I have options, but I am gonna see if I can take this out so that I get the right size tubing at the store. And it broke. Good old PCV valve. I'll keep it just in case I need to use it. But I got some tubing and I hooked it up to the top of the box and I ran it up here. So I'm gonna find a PCV valve that has two barbed sides and run it from here to here. I'm gonna call that good, but I'm gonna leave this dangling like this and then button up the bottom, you know, put this bracket back on. And then I think I've handled all the hard to get to stuff on the backside, so then I can put it in the car. I hope that's the case. All right, let's see if we can get this thing lifted and positioned into the car. All right, so it is in, have the two main mounts mounted, and I will see, I think I can do the rest without this being supported. So I'm gonna drop it, disconnect it, and put up the hoist. Happy day. But you know what? Let me go ahead and do that back bracket while I'm here. It's just one bolt. Yeah, and it looks pretty easy to line up. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna see if I can get to it from up here. Oh, it lines up perfectly. Oh, it went right in. So that is it for tonight anyway. Got the main 3 mounts connected. They're not all tightened all the way down. Next time, I will look for all the random little bolts that fell and start connecting everything. If I were to do it again, I may try to come from below, but now that I know where I want to connect to it, I may do it the same way next time. Because once I figured out how to do it, it went relatively smoothly. But anyway, next time I'll start connecting everything. Y'all take care. If you'd like to follow along as I finally get this B18 running in my Civic, hit subscribe. If you'd like to see the things I've already done on my EJ1, check out the playlist. Thanks for watching. Take care.